Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's video we're going to recap two trades that I took today, one on gold and one on ES. So let's start off with the trade on gold. We'll explain why I took it. We'll break down what price was doing overnight to help us get our bias for the day going into the morning session. And then we'll look at ES as well and do the same thing. So starting off on our daily chart here, which is where I like to start to see my candle closures and to kind of gauge where can I expect price to go for the next day. First thing that you'll notice is that gold took the high from the previous week on Friday, taking Thursday's high. Silver did the same, and if we drop over to platinum here, which I like to use, we have those equal highs right there. But if we zoom in just a little bit, they're not quite equal highs, but rather a sequential SMT between Thursday and Friday's price. So that tells us then going into the following day that our bias would be short. As we see on Monday, we open up and we gap down, of course taking out the previous day low here. So two things I want to note here after we take this previous day low. Not only do we come into this daily fair value gap here on gold, but also we're still inside this large weekly fair value gap over here to the left on gold. Same thing over here, we take this previous day low here, and then on silver we fail to take the low and we close as an inside bar. But what I want you to note here is the difference in candle closures for each day. We have a bullish close over here for gold. We have a bearish close for silver, and if we look at platinum, again we have a bearish close. So that in combination with the sequential SMT, I was looking for shorts coming into the day for gold, but I know I needed to get at least previous day high on one of the assets before we start to make this move lower to these relative equal lows down here from the prior week. So let's drop down into our hourly chart now, which is our weekly cycle, and see what develops overnight in the Asia session. Alright, so now that we're on our hourly chart for the weekly cycle, right at the open, what do we notice happens? Well, we see that gold here on the left takes out previous day high, while silver and platinum, I believe, also fail to do so. So this is our first indication that now that this liquidity has been taken, we've set in our weekly cycle, and now we'll begin to attack the lows, heading eventually towards these equal lows that I have marked out down here. So now all we're waiting for at this point is some sort of confirmation here that yes, this is the high of the day here, high of the week perhaps even, and then we start to short. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and mark out this candle here as our TCISD candle. We'll do the same over on platinum, and we'll do the same for silver as well. So what happens is once we get a closure below this candle here, then we can start to look for shorts. So what I need to happen is some sort of closure here, preferably on the weaker asset, of course, over here for silver, but also on gold too. I like to see that first, especially since we've had this large uptrend here for Monday. What I'd like to do is see all three assets close, and then in the next session rather, I would like to catch a continuation of it, and we'll go over that in more detail here in just a moment. So looking at price going forward here, we'll notice that eventually, yes, price does close below here at 9 p.m. candle, confirming now this true change in the state of delivery. So now this is a confirmed cycle on silver, gold, as well as if we look back at platinum, it confirmed earlier in the evening at 7. Large move downward. So now that the weekly cycle has been set in, I know easily low-hanging fruit objective for me, a nice easy target to get to is previous day low here set in at Monday. So all I'm looking for now is an area that I can get on side in this move in order to short down to previous day low. So immediately my draw now becomes previous day low. So I'm just going to mark that out on all these assets here. And go back to silver and do the same as well. So heading on into the morning session now. Again, I would notice that overnight silver took the draw down here at the prior day low. And I believe platinum did as well. Not quite yet. Okay. So looking at this, I see that gold still has its draw available. As I come into the overnight session, we see a small retracement here in London. So what am I looking for coming into New York session? Post 6 a.m., I'm just looking for anywhere that there might be a daily cycle with a sequential SMT. Once I have that, now I've got 2 stages of sequential SMT on the day. And now I can short from here, assuming that this would be the high of this New York AM session. And our target would be this low, previous day low. So gold would play a little bit of catch up here with silver. So now this would be my change in the state of delivery candle here, this bullish candle that took out the previous quarter high. And same on silver here as well. So we'll go ahead and mark that out. Excuse me, that was platinum. Now silver will do the same with. We also have news at 8:30 this morning, so I'm waiting to see what happens with that as well. And I see right off the bat we could potentially have a large 15-minute fair value gap put in that we can inverse as well. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that out. So if we inverse that, now I not only have one sign here that we're bearish with the sequential SMT, I have a second with confirmation that the TCISD candle is now closed, and then I would have a third with a bullish PD array invalidated or violated as well. So real strong confluence here that will eventually reach this previous day low draw. Moving price forward just a little bit more, and there's our confirmation as well. So what we could do is we can enter short here off of this inverse fair value gap with our stop at the high, targeting previous day low. We could also just use this bullish close candle if we don't think we'll get the retracement up into here, just to go ahead and get in the trade. That will also provide us with 3R, so a minimum of 2R. Or we could also wait and see if we get a potential tag of the true change in the state of delivery, or TCISD candle, which I don't necessarily expect once we make this large down move here and close off the IFVG. So my position personally was right here on this retest of the IFVG, and with my stop here at the high, targeting down here for roughly about 3R. Next candle comes up, tags us in, and moves quickly lower. As we move on price, we'll see it does begin to consolidate, reach back up in here a little bit more. Eventually it does tag the TCISD before rapidly descending lower. So we'll just go ahead and play this out. For me, once this draw has been met, I'm out of my trade. I'll just take the low-hanging fruit on the day. I've already got 3R basically, and that's enough for me on the day. So that was the gold short, and as we look at price going forward, quite a bit was left on the table as we continued to dump for the remainder of the day, eventually reaching just about 8R on the day for that one particular trade. So really, you can just go to see just how powerful these change in states of delivery are when you combine them with quarterly theory and time cycles. You can also see that we did reach down here into this 2 to 2.5 standard deviation of the defining range set in quarter one. So nice trade overall. Really happy with that one and its outcome. So let's switch over now to the indices and take a look at what happened at the 9:30 open and why I decided to long ES and some of the thinking behind it, but also the outcome of that trade. Okay, we're back on the chart now with the index futures. We have NASDAQ on the right, or on the left here, ES on the right. And what we want to look at is what happened on Monday's candle so that we can be prepared to trade for Tuesday's candle here. So just quickly looking at price here, we can see that we're in a large bullish uptrend currently. But of course we are facing some war news as always here in the last couple of weeks. Ceasefire is due to be over with on Wednesday, I believe. So really there's some indecision in the market here on Monday with a large gap down. But as we go on to look at price in the overnight or on Monday session and even into overnight, we have still some more bullish price action here. Closing off the new week opening gap, which left me with more of a bullish bias leaning into Tuesday as we begin to target up in here. But overall, I did want to see some retracement some point early in the week so that we can begin to target some of this liquidity lower. We can begin to push price down into some of these fair value gaps here lower as well before we move higher from here. So that was kind of my thinking going into the New York session here, but let's take a look at price and see what happened overnight as we look at Asia session consolidated. Coming into the New York AM session, though, we did get this nice move down right at 9:30, creating a daily sequential SMT here with the London lows here in this prior quarter two. Immediately, the next candle after that did print a true change in the state of delivery here. As you can see, it closed over the down close candle that took the low, created the sequential SMT. And the same thing happened with ES over here. And of course, our leading asset on YM did do the same thing as well, creating that sequential SMT here. Just clear up the chart just a little bit with its down close candle here, which would have been the 9:30 candle, but we had a nice bullish push right after that. So this candle here would have been my change in the state of delivery here, counting the next down close candle from the candle that took that liquidity. So this gave us pretty good confirmation that YM was going to continue higher. Being that YM had already taken off, I was looking at ES, the middle asset here, to play catch up as well. So I went ahead and took a limit here with my stop down here and just targeting a simple 3R. So we push price forward just a little bit. We can see that we continue to push higher. And I want to pull YM up over here in just a second. We can see that we're starting to move a little bit lower on YM, which is fine with me at the moment. And eventually, we did get tagged in down here. So we were just waiting for the push and reaction. But as you look at YM, we made this deep retracement back down all the way to the change in the state of delivery candle over here, which did cause me some concern. So I started to flip through time frames to see, well, what occurred right here at these highs that we got such a large push back down. If we look over at NQ, we still don't see that large push here on our weaker asset over here. So I'm beginning to wonder now, okay, what happened here? Or did we have any news that came out that might have affected this particular position? If we look at our 90-minute cycle on the 5-minute time frame, we do notice that YM did create a 90-minute sequential SMT here. So this candle was confirmed at 10:15. And if you were paying attention for shorts today, you banked very well on the indices here. So we had this true change in the state of delivery set in right here. We did come up above the true New York Open. So this was a nice short here as well, which entered into very little drawdown here. And as we look at some of the candle closures here on the day in the morning session, you can see why this short played out. But ultimately, this did fail on ES here, and I was out right in there. So a small 1R loss, but we did get 3R on gold, so up overall 2R on the day. So not a bad day overall, but this trade did not work here on ES, and so we did get that retracement that I was looking for early in the week here on Tuesday. So where do we go from here in this particular trade? Well, I'm looking for previous day low to get hit so that we can set in a weekly cycle and eventually make our way back out of that, going in, attacking the highs again. But as you look here, we can see that some of our candle closures did confirm us that we would be reversing from this point here. I believe it was on the 4-hour. Yes, so we had a 4-hour PSP here. Let me erase some of these drawings here. So we can see here YM's 6 a.m. candle closed bullish. ES's 6 a.m. candle closed as a bearish reversal, so this is your C2 candle, then C3 expanded away. Same thing over here, C3 expanded away there. And if we look at NQ, we can see that it's a bearish closed candle, taking the high, closing back down inside the range. C3 dropped this lower. So early indication there that that long was not going to play out, but of course I wasn't watching the 4-hour chart at that moment. Not until my stop had gotten hit, and I started to check and see why, but that is exactly why right there. I know a lot of different traders did catch this short here, pushing price down further, which was really a nice trade there. And as we can see here, ES failed to take this high, so set in that monthly cycle now, confirming it as well. So nice little trade there, short, if you caught that on the day, and eventually we did hit previous day low on ES right there. Now at the close of the day, we did confirm now a bullish weekly cycle as well. So heading into the next open here for Wednesday's candle, I'll be looking to see if I can catch a long back out of this as well, perhaps, or see how price reacts from this point forward to catch a next trade going forward. So that's just a quick trade breakdown of today's trades on gold and ES. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found some value from it. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done so already, join my Discord. The link is in my bio as well, and it'll be in the description of this video as well if you'd like to join and learn how to trade with me. You can also watch me trade live there in my Discord, and have a nice free trial as well available to my premium side of my Discord as well, where more insights are shared and more trade breakdowns like this explained even in more depth. So if you're excited about that, definitely check that out. But as always, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.